Hey boys and girls, it's Mr. McAndrew the Math Coach, and we're going to get into multiples. And we're going to learn some interesting things today, I promise you. So, let's start with square inch tiles, okay, just to show you. And then we're going to get into using hundreds charts, which I think you'll find quite interesting. So, multiples are very much connected to factors, okay? The factors of a number are the numbers that you get when you multiply that number by another number, which is a lot of using the word number. So let me give you an example. The factors of 3, okay, you could say are, 3 times 0, right? That's the first whole number. 3 times 0 would give you 0. So 0 is a factor of 3. It's a factor of all, it's a, 0 is a, see I'm doing it too, is a multiple of 3. So 0 is a multiple of all numbers because anything times 0 gives you 0, okay? What if we did 3 times 1? That would give us 3, and that's what we have right here, right? We have 3 rows of 1, okay? And if we did 3 times 2, we would get 6, okay? And that would look like this. So 6 is a multiple of 3. Okay? 3 is a factor of 6. I know, this is why it gets confusing. But let's list some some multiples of 3. So 0 is a multiple, 3 is a multiple, 6 is a multiple. Oh, look at that. 9 is a multiple, 3 times 3. 12 is a multiple. 3 times 4. 15 is a multiple. 3 times 5. So you can kind of see here, right? The multiples of a number are when you skip count by that number, starting with 0. So 0, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36, 39, 42, 45, 48, 51, 54, 50. It goes on and on and on. 57, 60, okay? But we're not going to be using square inch tiles as much today. What I would like you to do is please take out in your math packet, we're going to be using this a lot. It says many hundreds charts. Okay, so we're going to be using this a lot. So please take this out, and when you have it out, please come back and we will discuss it. All right, see you soon. All right, boys and girls, so we're going to look at this hundreds chart right here first, and we're going to focus on multiples of 5 and 10, okay? So if you have 2 different color pencils or markers, that's great. If you don't, it's also totally fine. Don't freak out or anything. It's totally fine, okay? I'm going to be using 2 different colors just to make it more obvious as to what we're doing. Okay, so let's get started. All right, made that bigger for you there, okay? So the first thing I want you to do is let's write down the number 5 here. Okay, and I want you to circle all of the multiples of 5. We'll do this together, okay? They're going to be, now that we can't do 0 because 0 is not on the hundreds chart, but we could start with 5 because 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 3 5s is 15. 4 5s is 20. 5 5s is 25. 6 5s is 30. 7 5s is 35, 8 5s, 9 5s, 10 5s, 11 5s, 12, 13, 14 5s, 15 5s, 16, 17, 18 5s, 19 5s, and 20 5s gives us 100. Okay, so please make sure you have all this circled. If I ever go too fast for you, boys and girls, pause the video, catch up, and then just join back in, okay? It's the beauty of having a video. All right, so these are all multiples of 100. Sorry, of 5. My goodness, my mouth is not following my brain today. Now, this could go on forever, right? 105, 110, 115, 120, 130, 140, on and on. Like 2,867,215 is a multiple of 5. Okay, if you kept skip counting and going crazy like that. Okay, so these are all multiples of 5. All right, now what I want you to do, By the way, before I move on, what do you notice about all the multiples of 5? What do you notice? Do you notice any patterns? Take a second to think about it. Okay? Get that brain going. All right, what do you notice? Okay, so you might notice that these are all multiples going down, right? And these are all multiples going down. These all end in a 5 in the ones place. And these all have a 0 in the ones place. So it's possible that any number that ends in a 5 or a 0 is a multiple of 5. In fact, that is true. Right? Even the example I just gave you of the really big number. Okay. So now what I want you to do is write the number 10. And I want you to underline all of the multiples of 10. So we can't do 0, but we could do what's 10 times 1. 1 10 would give us 10. 2 10s would give us 20. All right, 3 10s would give us 30. 4 10s would give us 40. 5 10s, 6 10s, 7 10s, 8 10s. It gives us to it right there, right? 8 10s is 80. We know that. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. 9 10s is 90, and 10 10s you can exchange or regroup to 100. Okay? So what do you notice about all of the multiples of 10? You probably notice that they all end in 0. Okay? So even really big numbers like 85,255,820, since it ends in a 0, is a multiple of 10. Okay? You'll also might notice that all of the multiples of 10 are also multiples of 5. That's very interesting. Okay, let's move on to the next one. All right, so now we're going to look at this hundreds chart, and we're going to look at 2s, 4s, and 8s. There's a reason I'm doing that, and we'll take a look, okay? So let's start by underlining all the multiples of 2. There's a lot of them. Okay, there's a lot of them because if you think about it, 2 times 1 is 2. And then if we skip count, right, we've got 2 2s is 4, 3 2s is 6, 4 2s is 8, 5 2s is 10. So I want you to go through right now and underline all the multiples of 2 and notice what patterns you see. Okay, think about that and then come back and we'll talk about it. Okay, so a lot of these numbers are multiples of 2. Do you notice the pattern here? Like they all end in either, so in this column they all end in a 2 in the ones place, or there's a 4 in the ones place in this column, a 6 in the ones place in this column, an 8 in the ones place in this column, and a 0 in the ones place in this column. Okay, because these are all even numbers. And they all end in a 2, 4, 6, 8, or 0. It also means that any of these numbers you could break into half, into 2 whole halves. So if I had 54 square inch tiles, I could put them into 2 equal groups. Okay, I could do that. All right. So now, again, this would go on forever, right? Even if you had a really big number like 86,538, it has an 8 in the ones place, so therefore it's an even number and it's a multiple of 2. Okay? All right, let's move on to the 4s. Why don't we put a circle around the 4s? And yeah, so to get started, we would say 1 4 is 4, 2 4s is 8, 3 4s is 12, 4 4s is 16, 5 4s is 20. So you want to skip counting like that. Okay? 24, 28, 32. All right, do a good job and circle them and then notice what patterns you see. And once you've done that, come back and we'll take a look at it together. Make sure you do this though, okay? I'm going to make sure your teachers are checking to see you're doing a good job, okay? I'll see you soon. All right, so boys and girls, how'd you do? Did you get all your 4s circled? So this is what it should look like. Do you notice any patterns, either visually or in the numbers? What do you notice? Raise your hand if you notice that as you come down the columns, it skips every 2 rows like this. Boom, 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 right? I noticed that. And if you go this way, it goes every 4, which makes sense, right? You can kind of see a diagonal going here. It's kind of interesting. All of the multiples of 4 end in either a 2, 4, 6, 8, or 0, right? Because all of the multiples of 4 are also multiples of 2. Okay, that kind of makes sense because 2 times 2 is 4. So 4 is a multiple of 2. So therefore, any multiple of 2, okay, sorry, any multiple of 4 is also a multiple of 2. 100 is a multiple of 4, of course, because like 4 quarters make $1, 25 cents, 50, 75, 100. Okay? The most important multiples that I would want you to know are up to 40, right? So knowing that 4 times 10 is 40, 4 times 9 is 36, 4 times 4 is 16. These ones are not as important, but I did want you to see there's patterns in here in these multiples in terms of what you see with the multiples of 4. There's another way to think about this, boys and girls, and then there's going to be one more video. It's a lot of videos today. I'm sorry about that, but I think you'll find the next one to be really interesting when we get into 3, 6, and 9s. But that another way of saying this is if I pick one of these numbers, let's take 28, okay? If I say it's a multiple of 4, I'm also saying it's divisible by 4, which means not only that 4, it's a multiple because 4 times 7 is 28. It's also divisible by 4 because 28 divided by 4 gives you a whole number, which is 7. Okay? So if I take any of these numbers, if I take 80, it's divisible by 4 because 80 divided by 4 gives me 20. 20, 40, 60, 80. Okay? So I wanted to point that out to you. This is also a way to think about division, not just multiplication. Okay. All right. The last one we're going to do is our 8s. Okay. So for our 8s, let me think about this. All right. So for 8s, I just want you to put little corners in like this. Okay. So 8, 16. If you have a different color, that's great. 24. Okay. 32. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 40. All right, so keep going up all the way to 100 and see where you end up. All right, I'll see you in a minute. All right, did you get what I got? 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72, 80, 88, 96. You kind of see they kind of go in a diagonal, right? Some of them end in a 2 or a 4 or a 6 or an 8 or a 0, so they're all even. And again, you can see that all the multiples of 8, right, are also multiples of 4 and multiples of 2. That makes sense because look, 2 times 4 is 8. That's why I had you do all of them on the same one. Okay? So on this chart, you can see all the multiples of 2, all the multiples of 4, and all the multiples of 8. And all the multiples of 8 are also multiples of 4. And all the multiples of 4 are also multiples of 2. All right? But not all the multiples of 2 are multiples of 4 and 8. Okay? So there's that. All right. So in the next video, we will do, it'll be a short video. We'll be doing 3, 6, and 9 on this chart. And there's some mind-blowing like patterns you're going to see. And then we'll get to our independent work. All right, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.